Hiya, moms and dads. Adventures in Collecting is about toys, but it might not be for your children, especially if you don't like words like f*** or sh** or a**hole.
Are you ready, kids? Get your parents' permission, check your mailbox, and grab your shopping cart. It's time for the Adventures in Collecting podcast.
I'm Erik.
And I'm Dave. Welcome to Adventures in Collecting, where we talk toy news, culture, and hauls,
Along with our journeys as collectors. All right, and we are back. Welcome to Adventures in Collecting. Dave, we're back.
Hi.
There it is.
Had to do it.
Always. You always have to do it.
Yeah.
And it has been an absolutely wild 2 weeks since our last episode. There has been a lot.
Yeah, a lot
that
of stuff has happened. Actually, we'll get into kind of one of the things that happened, I guess, once we introduce our guest.
Yeah, as always when we have a guest, there's there's no need to bury the lead. Traveling through time to be with us today is the Zombie Sailor himself. Zombie Sailor, welcome to Adventures in Collecting.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks since we spoke. Both, are we having a podcast and you and I having spoken.
Oh my goodness, man. What a run-in that was.
That was incredible. Like, I wouldn't have thought, I wouldn't have thought I would have seen anyone I would recognize just kind of out, but let alone looking for AEW figures, but there we were.
Dude, that was insane. And we spoke over there and now all the listeners could find out what's going on. Like I mentioned, I've never been to a toy shop or a toy store or a Target, whatever, in maybe 10, 15 years that I've seen people rush to a shelf and look for the same figures that I'm looking for. I probably haven't experienced that since Toys R Us, Star Wars days when episode 1 came out. I'm not even exaggerating. So it's cool that people are out and hunting for these figures again. I mean, it's great. It sucks that they're hard to find, but hey, I mean, supply and demand, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. Have you found them yet?
Yeah, you know what? I'm in the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Facebook group. There's a lot of cool people there. I put a little post. I'm I've been searching now for ever since we had that little exchange, and I was like, please, could someone help me out? Does anybody have them? So I was luckily able to get a set there for retail. It's awesome. You know, it's funny. I just opened up the Chris Jericho figure maybe 2 hours ago. It is awesome. And then I opened up the Cody one the other day. They are high quality figures, man. And I'm not a paid shill. I mean, I'm just a fan and I love toys and wrestling. And to me, I don't know if you guys, agree or disagree, but they kind of almost feel like a Japanese import. And that's in the best possible way. It feels like a good quality figure. And you could tell the detail and the love that went into these. And I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but I don't feel that same way with Mattel figures.
Yeah, I've finally found them too. I would say, what was it, last weekend? Yeah, this past weekend I finally picked mine up after driving around a little bit. And I haven't opened mine yet because I'm waiting to film it. I just need a day where I can do it. But I can tell just kind of from what I've seen and what I've heard, and from a little bit of the bubbly one, where these are incredible.
Oh my goodness, man.
They're
and
awesome.
It's
It's very, kind of, I don't want to say like brand specific, but Jazzwares in general, the stuff that they produce, because I have some of the 6-inch Legendary Series Fortnite figures, and it's the same thing. They sometimes some of the figures have that kind of SH Figure Arts kind of feel to them, the way that they articulate the kind of color palette that they use, the paint quality, it really does. They do feel like import figures. That's spot on.
Yeah, the way the torso is built, I don't know if it has that rubbery feel below it, but it kind of looks like that Storm Collectibles Liger.
Yeah, man, 100%. I love how the joints are. Like, I'm sure you guys seen them or seen reviews or whatnot. But like, when you bend like the elbow, for example, it's like, multiple clicks. So it's the perfect for posing, man. It's exactly like you said, man. It's like a straight up like figure arts like type of figure, and which is amazing because those are like what, 60, $70, and these are 19.99. So I think you're getting a heck of a bargain here.
Yeah, for sure. And that was obvious too when we had the opportunity to see the even just the models, like the hand painted models at Toy Fair, like seeing them up close outside of the box. We knew that we were in for something special here. So like, we're glad that we've had Jeremy Padower on the show in the past, and he is, to say that he's enthusiastic about these figures and about what he does would be like the understatement of the year. Um, but it's obvious that these are labors of love, and yeah, none of us are getting paid to say this. We're just fans of toys, and it's nice to see a new product that's being competitive and that's trying to own the space that it's in, and that's clearly what they're doing.
Yeah, man. I mean, they deserve all the amount of people that are like now focused on their product, and I just hope they continue to be successful. And I just want to see where this line goes, man. And the best part is I'm not even like that much of a modern wrestling fan anymore, believe it or not. I don't watch NXT or Raw or SmackDown. I can't even tell you in how long. And every now and then if AEW is on, I'll give it a shot. I mean, I do like that product. I do respect those guys, but I'm not even like a diehard AEW fan. But these are just fans that I need to get. I mean, figures I need to get just based on how cool they are and just the likeness. So yeah.
Yeah, and we're getting people that we've not had figures for it yet too.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. The Young Bucks, man, the outfits on them, the detail. I mean, God, man, for again for $20, man. I mean, they outdid themselves.
So speaking of AEW and wrestling, I think where a lot of people know you from is the relationship that you have with the Major Wrestling Figure podcast and Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. So how did that relationship kind of start up? How did that happen?
Dude, it's all because of social media, um, Instagram to be specific. So Ryder or Matt, he's big time action figure collector, like we are, and a couple years back, 2015, 2014, maybe, I found like a lot of like case fresh old vintage Ghostbuster figures. So it was like an old warehouse find. It was a mom and pop shop. They had them by the case, like in perfect mint condition, and I posted them on my Instagram, and you know Matt bought a few, and then we just hit it off, and we just ever since then we pretty much like text every single day, and now we're buddies, and now we're working together, and it's pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, he's a co-host of a wrestling figure podcast, but what people don't realize, and we've had the opportunity to talk to him, briefly about it, but that he collects like everything. That we wanted to hear more about like his Arnold Schwarzenegger shelf.
Hmm.
So it's crazy that like toys that are what at this point those real Ghostbusters figures are like what, like 30 years old, um
Yeah.
are
Yeah,
are
about
are still connecting people 30 years later, like in a new way on a new platform. It's absolutely fucking wild. Like
to
I
the
love.
to the point where they've been, re-released. Like they've been, there have been official reproductions of them.
Yeah, it's unreal, man. Like, yeah, after so many years, and what's old is new, and it's really wild, man. Like, just the journey of pop culture and all this vintage stuff. I don't know, man. It's wild.
So I sent you a link earlier today. Did you get a chance to look at that mask case fresh find? I think that was in Chile.
Yeah, it's in Chile. Yeah, I woke up and I had like a million DMs. I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna make some money today, right? Because people DM me when they want to buy some stuff, and it's like the majority, overwhelming majority, were just like, "Is this you?" or "Did you see this?" and all that stuff. I'm like, oh my god. And the thing is, so I didn't know about this, but a good buddy of mine, Pete, like he's like super vintage. Like he gets a lot of stuff. He makes a good living selling vintage toys on the side, and it's amazing what this guy finds. And he actually knows the guy who is like, that bought that old warehouse, and he's been in contact with this dude for like the past few months, and he's like trying to get it, but the guy doesn't want to ship to the United States. So but bottom line is just this was like now it's getting public, but other people have known about it now for a few months apparently. So it's wild. But he has a lot of stuff. Um, but from what I hear, he's like I mean, obviously, I don't blame him. He's charging like a premium. So I mean, but he has so much of it. I don't know how he's eventually gonna get rid of everything. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that is like a lot of mask figures to have.
Yeah.
for anybody.
Dude, like see, even me with like the warehouse finds, like I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, I'll find like a lot. Like, 2015, I found 1,830 Beetlejuice figures. Like, I'm not exaggerating the number. 1,828 was the actual number between, the figures and the vehicles. And I'm like, oh God, I'm going to die with these Beetlejuice. Now, fast forward however many years, and I have, a handful left. So they go, and it took me 5 years. But I mean, but those are like, $10, $15 toys I was selling them for at one point. These are like figures that are hundreds of dollars each, and there's thousands of them. So I hope the guy makes money and I hope he gets rid of it, but logically speaking, how is he gonna be able to sell that many for like retail pricing? Like, do you follow?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a lot of product to move
I mean,
for anything, let alone something as niche as mask toys.
Yeah.
as niche as Mask is, though, it does have a following.
Oh, of course, yeah, it's a huge following, but also the thing working against this dude, he's in Chile. I mean, nothing wrong with chili. I mean, I love it on my hot dogs; it's delicious. But I mean, the fact that he's not in the United States is like really like gonna play a factor into someone ordering a lot or any, because shipping is like ridiculous, as we all know. So I know the guy is on eBay now. I don't have his username, and I wouldn't give him a plug, but hey, I mean, he's getting plenty of it right now. But yeah, for like one or two vehicles, he was charging like $100 flat shipping or something like that. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's gonna eat into his cost, and it's gonna let a lot of people kind of like steer away from it. But hey, that whatever. It's neither here nor there.
So in terms of those vintage case fresh finds that you end up coming into, I think one of the more interesting ones that you've found recently was the Congo stuff.
Oh my goodness, Congo, the second greatest movie of all time behind Waterworld, starring my best friend Kevin Costner. Yeah, just Waterworld. Such I don't know. I don't know what's more in demand. Is it Congo or mask figures? Let's pretend it's Congo. Pretend very deeply. And yeah, I came into quite a bit of those, a couple hundred pieces. And, listen, I'm familiar with the market. I know what stuff sells for on eBay, not what people list it for, what people sell stuff for. So I'm like, these are, I don't want to say garbage, because all joking aside, I do love the Congo movie and I respect the figures. I think they're cool. But I'm like, shit, I got however many hundred figures of these, however many dozen vehicles. I mean, yeah, they're like, really mint and super clean, but what can I do to make people want Congo figures and actually spend their hard-earned money? So I made a stupid 6-month long feud with a gorilla to freaking promote this on my Instagram page. A gorilla stole that and my car and assaulted me and whatever. And yeah, it's
And,
terrible.
and how's your neck? Have you made a full recovery? Is
I can't turn it to the left, but other than that, it's okay.
I mean, especially after just all the neck trauma from like Ziggler's super kick at Live 2 to
Dude, fucking Ziggler. Like the live 2, he kicked me. Then at live, what was it? Live 5? No, what the hell was it? The one live 4 in Chicago? My God, it's like I drove like 18 hours to be there to like drop off pins and make a little appearance, and then I get assaulted there. So it's either Dolph Ziggler assaulting me or Henry Godwin or a giant gorilla. I mean, yeah, life is good. What can I say?
you just can't catch a fucking break?
I'm telling you, I'm just a guy that wants to sell toys and not be bothered. And look what happens.
Lesson learned: sell toys, get kicked in the neck. That's
Sell toys, get kicked in the neck, repeat. That'll be my new t-shirt.
yeah. So
No one will buy it.
I think one of the other like more fun things was the whole Kevin Costner thing. How did that come about? I know it was when you got those Waterworld figures, but how did just kind of reaching out to Kevin Costner happen?
Yeah, so well, with the figures, it's like the same boat as Congo. Like, they don't really sell for much, and I do love Kevin Costner. I love all his movies. I'm like, a big '90s movie guy, and I was born in 1985, so I'm like living in the past. Hence why I'm selling vintage toys. I'm telling you guys, this is not a gimmick. Like, I don't know anything what's going on in terms of like pop culture and all that stuff. Like, sure, everything's like shut down now, whatever. But even before that, like, I don't know what the hell's going on with pop culture. I have no interest in it. I can't even tell you the top 5 actors or actresses now or singers, whatever. I just don't care for it, man. Let me live in my bubble and so be it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Kevin Costner. To me, he's like a perfect representation of like the actor from like the early to mid 90s. And he has so many great movies and I'm like, "Oh, let me just start talking about how much I love Kevin Costner." And sure enough, the video started getting more and more like crazy, if you will. And it was on Thanksgiving Day. I remember like I posted some stupid thing and like I tagged him or something. And it's like his official account, blue check mark and all that stuff. And then like a few minutes later, like he liked the photo or something. I forgot what it was. Oh no, it was okay. I tagged him in a story on Instagram. So when you tag somebody, it goes to like their DMs or whatever.
Yeah.
So I tagged him in a story and then he wrote like LOL classic or something to it and he like liked it and then he immediately started following me and this is Thanksgiving Day and I almost had a heart attack. I'm like, is this real? Like, what the heck is going on? And sure enough, again, blue check mark. And it was, evidently him or run by his handlers or whatever the case may be. I don't give a shit. And when you started like communicating through DM, whether if it was him or his handler, again, I don't care. And then it all came to a climax, if you will, on New Year's Eve at like, it was like around, I'm in, New York. So again, Eastern time. And like around like 2:50 a.m., which would be like, I guess like, California or Central Time, whatever the hell that is, 3 hours behind us over here. So it must have been like, minutes before the ball's dropping by wherever the hell he is. He sends me a freaking like a 4-part New Year's Eve message. And I'm like, what the F is going on right now? This is Kevin Costner, visibly drunk, giving me a shout out, putting me over. And I'm like, how is this real life? And I was flipping out. I almost did a cartwheel. It was like the best like present ever, let alone for New Year's Eve. I don't know, you don't get presents for New Year's Eve, but that was a present for me. And I posted about it. People went nuts and like had like 10,000 views and a lot of comments. And it was cool. I feel like it was like a great payoff to like me obsessing over a great actor and 25-year-old Waterworld figures. And that's where it went. And I'm still on the prowl. Now I'm trying to get a little walk-on role cameo or extra, some BS for his hit television show Yellowstone.
Yeah, we need to get you on Yellowstone. That does need to happen.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that
like
would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. I mean, if it happens, we'll see. But like, right now with like just being like the summertime and how the world is right now, I'm like not really posting much on Instagram. I'm kind of like giving like a little breather, waiting for things to, God willing, cool down. But like once like the fall starts coming along and I'm like, like indoors more and whatnot, that I'm already indoors. But I'm gonna like start posting a lot more videos in my next big campaign. You're hearing it here first. Late breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna basically be like 3-month long campaign of me vying for why I should be on Yellowstone. It's gonna be so pathetic and nothing will probably come out of it. But hey, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
We also really love Kevin Costner. Like between, I get made fun of regularly because for me, like Dave and I are both really big baseball fans. But for me, the kickoff to the baseball season is my annual viewing of For Love of the Game.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
Like that's
Mhm.
when baseball season starts, that movie goes right on, and I sit back and I get wispy, or I get a teary eyed when he cuts his hand on the saw on the farm. Like I'm right there with him when he's throwing the perfect game. It's an amazing film, and
I
it's
mean, Bull
directed by Sam
Durham.
Raimi.
Yeah,
Bull
Bull
Durham,
Durham,
yeah.
Robin Hood.
Dude, there's so many. I love The Bodyguard. I mean, Grant, that was like 90 or 91, like so many decades ago. But I mean, it was such a good, great movie. I remember there was like a ton of hype for that when it came out. And yeah, man, just the guy's a good actor. And he has that wholesome, like, that wholesome look and like the everyday man character. And that's what I'm all for, man. I'm all for the everyday commoner.
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes Daddy.
Yeah.
And he is part of some very interesting niche toy lines, right? Because he was, obviously we talked about Waterworld, but also the Robin Hood figures.
Yeah, the Robin Hood figures.
Robin Hood's great, man. I mean, just look how cool those, like the packaging for them is awesome. It's it's like that Star Wars feel. The what's the name? The Gamorrean Guard, however you pronounce it.
Yep. Yep.
They use that for Frere Tuck, the body, and but yeah, it's a cool looking piece. Like the packaging is awesome, the figures are great, and also if you're like a collector and you like stuff from way back when, you can get like a set of those on eBay for like $8 each. You know, it's a bargain.
Yep, and they had really cool, like, soft goods, which was,
Yeah,
something
they
that you
did.
don't find anymore, really.
100%, man. Yeah, like exactly. Like back in the day, like man, they put a lot into making this stuff, and yeah, so much soft goods, and man, they were so damn cool. I'm just reminiscing in my head like how awesome they are.
And it was cool that Sherwood Forest was the Ewok village. Like,
Amazing. How awesome is that?
Kenner made those molds work.
Oh man, yeah, they know what they're doing, man.
And that's not unusual because, like, even today, like, I Marvel Legends, like, how many freaking characters have been on that Bucky Cap body, like, they when you find something that works and you can use it for multiple characters, it makes sense. Just do it, like. It's just
Why not,
crazy to
man?
think that a Gamorrean guard became Friar Tuck and that an Ewok village became Sherwood Forest. I mean, that's some real creative thinking, but, like, it worked.
yeah, it
Yeah,
did.
man. Like those molds, I mean, those steel molds from China, those cost a lot of money. So I mean, hey, I mean, it's a business at the end of the day, and if they can cut costs and get as much use of it as possible, hey man, more power to them, right?
So before we jump off the old stuff and get into some more of the modern things that we're collecting, tell us a little bit about prototypes because you've recently posted some very interesting Beetlejuice prototypes, among others. But to us, that's also incredibly fascinating in a world that we don't even know how it exists, frankly.
Yeah, man. I just love prototypes. Being a big toy fan, I just love like the inner workings of it. I'm so fascinated by all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes and how long it takes to get something from like paper or in this case like nowadays everything's on the computer, but to get something from like an idea down to like the final finished product in your hand in packaging, like the whole process is just it's like beautiful. It's like fascinating to me. So it's art. That's how I look at it. So, like, I try to get, as many like 80s, 90s vintage toy prototypes as possible but I only collect things that I like. I'm not going to just get something, oh, it's a prototype, let me get it. And of course, the price has to be within reason. But yeah, I just like collecting that sort of thing. And more importantly, like unproduced figures, because that tells another story. That just says, at one point, this figure was going to get made. And for whatever reason, whether it was poor sales or just it didn't look right in the line or whoever, whatever, they just got scrapped. So I'm also on a quest to find as many unproduced figures as possible from the lines I collect because it's just cool. It's like, it's like, shoot, it's something that not many people know about, something that not many people have. And for something like that to survive so many decades is just like mind boggling. So yeah, just that's what I'm into. Like Beetlejuice, Bucky O'Hare, I mean, Killer Tomatoes, Toxic Crusaders, like all that type of stuff I like.
I just can't believe out of all of the batshit crazy versions of Beetlejuice that they made for that toy line that, like, Dr. Beetlejuice was the one that was like, you know what? Let's not make that one.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Dr. Beetlejuice, the archaeologist, which was formerly called Dig and Spin, and then what was the bowler? Bowl and roll Beetlejuice. But yeah, that sale. I mean, that series didn't really do too well. Hence why I found 1,800 plus of them. Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it's Beetlejuice. It's like an adult dark comedy, or I don't know what the hell you would consider that. And of course, like everything else, they tried to appeal that to kids. And I guess it came out around the same time as a cartoon. Honestly, I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, it just didn't do too well. And they're like, why the heck are we going to put these into production? We're going to take a big loss here. So at that point, I guess it was more viable for them to scrap it instead of, pulling the green light out.
I know at least one person that had them, Eric. That was
Yeah,
you were a big Beetlejuice
I,
toy
s-
fan.
I still have a couple Lucy's. I have the guy with the shrunken head,
Hmm.
complete. I even have his accessories for that one.
Hmm.
I found the headpiece for Alec Baldwin,
Oh
but
man.
not the actual figure. I don't know where. I was terrible at organizing stuff. Plus, I used to bring stuff to school with me all the time and trade them for other toys. So, like, when wrestling figures became really popular, I would, like, bundle up figures and be like, "Hey, I'll trade you Alec Baldwin, Batman, and this, Daredevil figure for Diesel."
Oh
and
my god.
I'd get a new bone cruncher, and now like I look back and I'm like, oh cool, so like I totally gave away a Wave 1 Toy Biz Spider-Man complete for a figure that I could. Well, Diesel's a bad example because he's tough to find, but like I traded for way more common figures that were just kind of like the thing at the time.
Oh my
But
god, like crazy, man. Like I'll give you this carded plastic Cape Jawa for this Savio Vega.
quite pretty much, pretty much.
Oh my god.
Nothing. When you're a kid and you're that little, nothing. Nothing really has any kind of lasting value if it's not hot. At
And you
that
want
time.
what you want. Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
look back on it now, like we recently went through a bunch of bins in our mom's basement with like all of our toys from when we were kids, and we found a lot of the Hall of Justice from those Kenner Superpowers figures. We found a lot of the Kenner Superpowers figures, but also mixed in were just kind of like James Bond Jr. figures, and what were some other weird ones that I found? Um, the Shadow. Speaking of Alec Baldwin,
Mhm.
found one of the figures from that wave, and it's just like these random lines that you totally forget about. But then as soon as you're holding it in your hand again, you're like, oh my god, no wait, I remember this. And then like this figure came with this accessory, and you start to kind of put the pieces together, which is why I love when people like you post this incredible like pristine mint on card photos of these figures that literally transport you back in time. There's no other way to put it. Like you see it and you're like, wow, it's 1993 again, and I'm standing in KB Toys and holding this on card for the first time.
Well, that was like the AWA figures were the mind blowing one for me because, and I remember telling you about this, Eric. Like I was like, I hadn't seen those since I had, you know, bought a Matt Mania when I was like 7 years old in the supermarket.
Wow. Yeah, man, those AWA figures were crazy. Like once I found out the dude that had him and how many he had and the characters and whatnot, I was like, wow, I have to have this. And fast forward, it took me quite a bit to get enough, cashola to save up to purchase a lot, but it was worth it, man. It's when are you going to see something like that, or how often are you going to see something like that? And nearly 40 years later after it came out.
And that was a popular line to boot. So like the fact that that dude was sitting on as many as he was is just is wild, because you're probably never going to see something like that again.
Probably not, man. Yeah, just a lot of these people that I get from, it's just a network of people. It's like, this one guy, he was a distributor in whatever, part of the United States, and he had he sold his stuff to this guy, 30, 40 years ago, and it's just a network. It's all about networking. It's just, creating a good name for yourself. And then it just, it spreads like wildfire. Like, oh, if you ever find anything, contact this guy, he'll pay for it and he's good and honest and whatnot. And just, your name gets out there, and then a lot of people start coming to you because that's what you're known for, and just snowballs, and yeah, that's how you get that sort of thing. Yeah.
So what's your like white whale at this point? Like what's the thing that you hope to stumble upon?
I mean, honestly, I mean, as far as like figures that are like were actually released, like I pretty much have everything that I want. I mean, and my collection is not even huge. It's like modest. It's not like I'm a completist by any stretch of the imagination. I just try to get things that I had when I was a kid that I really enjoyed, or things that I never got to get that I wanted that I can now get, as an adult. Um, so pretty much everything is like checked off on my list. I mean, the only thing I really, really want to get, like my white whale, would be probably more unproduced figures. Like I'm a big fan of Bucky O'Hare. My brother and I, Wesley, we freaking played with those figures, and so long, had so many crazy battles with those figures. And I remember reading, I think it was like Tomart's or Lee's Toy Review magazine way back in like the late 90s. And there was like a section of all like, excuse me, like unproduced or canceled figures or whatever. And they had all these Bucky O'Hare guys. And we're like, oh my God, we wish they made these, blah, blah, blah. And now, you know, 20 years later from that article, um, I see these guys like randomly pop up on eBay, or I missed a couple, and now I'm in all these Facebook groups of people that have these that eventually sell them or trade them, whatever. So I'm trying to get those guys that I saw in that ad, but it's so hard because the people that have them, they know that once you put it for sale, you might not ever see another one. So why the heck are they going to sell them? So it's going to be like really tough, really rare, and more importantly, very expensive. So I just hope all those stars line up and I can get some of those one day. I only have one guy from that series now, and listen, I'm thankful to have that one. If I don't get any more, so be it. I'm content with that. But I would love to add more of those. Those would be like my white whale right now. So if people at home are listening and you have those damn Buck Your Hair Series 2 figures, hit up Zombie Sailor on Instagram.
Yeah, I remember those Bucky O'Hare figures. They were good. They went on a lot of adventures with the Ninja Turtles
Yeah,
because
they were in the same scale as the Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, yeah, it was like perfect and they were so like colorful and creative and again with packaging, so I'm a big fan of packaging is also it's like, that's what brings you, want to buy the figure. Besides the character and how cool the sculpt is, it's just like, the packaging is so much of it. So they had really cool like original art on each card and man, I just love that line, man. It's just so damn cool. I mean, and like you said, it fits perfectly in with those turtles.
and like you mentioned before, what's old is new again. Boss Fight
Boss
Studios.
Fight does the Bucky O'Hare ones now. Yeah.
Yeah, those are really cool, man. Like my only complaint is like, I'm just like so anal or slash psychotic, however you want to look at it. Like their Deadeye Duck figure, like the color is like way off. If you can compare the two figures from like 1990 to the one that they have, like the orange is like so off that I didn't get that figure for that reason. I know it sounds petty and stupid. I should be thankful they're making Bucko here after so many years, but just like it's like, damn, you had one job. Why couldn't you have just did it just like the original toy? But whatever. I'm crazy.
You know what? It's you collect what you collect, and you're passionate about it. So I don't think that's crazy at all. If it were a more well known, more mainstream character, more people would be upset at something like that. I mean, people get mad when they put out a Marvel Legends figure and there's Hasbro misses like the smallest detail. So you are not crazy, at least not to us.
Just a little bit.
So, with the kind of the mention of all the old stuff that we collect and the things that harken back to the past, what are you collecting now? Like, what's new for you?
Oh man. Well, Marvel Legends, of course. I'm a big Marvel fan. Some of those figures are awesome. Just a little while ago today, like, I have very little free time, just a lot of stuff going on. And I just opened up the Punisher with the motorcycle figure, that deluxe set or whatever it's called. And I'm actually staring at it right now. I have it on my desk in front of my computer. And do you guys have that one?
So I do the MCU and film. Like I'm now doing the Fox verse figures.
Uh,
I put up those guardrails very early on, and
mhm.
with very few exceptions, I've stuck to that. And I'm actually a completionist at that. I have every single character that they've made for the MCU
Wow.
represented. So like I don't have every iteration of Captain America, but I have like the 3 or 4 costumes that I think look best. Um
Amazing.
but yeah, so I have all of the MCU guys, and I actually just got the the Fox Cable and Domino figures, and oh my god,
Yeah, those are
so
Amazing.
pretty
good.
incredible.
They're so good.
That's crazy, man. Where'd you find Cable? You found him locally?
Yeah, so I
Actually, the same place I found the AEW figures,
Get
yeah,
out
coincidentally.
of here.
good old Rockaway, New Jersey.
Unreal, man. You must have been on cloud nine finding AEW and Cable all in one shot and on the same day?
No,
No,
Oh, I was gonna say, like, Mike, that would have been a crazy high.
it was a couple days apart.
no,
Wow.
24 hours later.
Okay.
Whew.
So
Unreal.
interesting story with Cable. So the same thing that we were trying to do with the AEW figures when we saw they popped up available in stock somewhere, we were putting in orders for in-store pickups, hoping that, they would be fulfilled. I learned something really interesting about how Walmart does their in-store pickups from
Mhm,
this last adventure. So the Cable figures are 6 to a case.
mhm.
And from my understanding is every store is getting one case, and that is it. The employee at Walmart actually showed me that there is no they're not being they're actually marked as discontinued. So there
What?
there will not be a refulfillment of them at stores. So if you don't have it pre-ordered from Walmart, or you don't find it kind of like now, at least according to Walmart's system, they are not getting more in. S-
What?
So there were 6 in that case, and 6 people, or whatever amount of orders that equated to 6 figures, were put in for in-store pickup. if it takes anywhere between 90 minutes and 2 hours for Walmart to process your actual in-store pickup request.
Mm-hmm.
If when they process that request, they cannot locate the product, they auto cancel your order. In this case, they could not locate all 6 of the Deadpool figures, or the Cable figures, excuse me, because they were on the cart on their way to the aisle to be stocked.
Oh wow.
So when I got there, Brickseek uh, showed that there were 0 in stock, but all 6 of them were there because the system hadn't refreshed and shown that those 6 orders were canceled. So I walked to the toy aisle. I didn't see them. I was ready to leave, and I happened to see the kid stocking the aisle, and I had him scan the barcode, and he was like, "It's showing that I have 6 of them, but I don't know where they are." He was like, "You're more than welcome to look at the cart. That's a bunch of toy stuff." And sure enough, fresh case sitting
Oh
on the
man.
cart. And I explained to him, he was like, "You seem really like nervous / excited that you found these."
Hmm.
And I explained to him, the significance of them, that they were an exclusive, that the pre-order was tough to get, yada, yada, yada. And he was like, "Oh, so like, should I put these out on the shelf?" I was like, yeah, you should. So he actually ended up, funny story, he ended up taking the box and putting it back in the back because he was worried that I don't know what the case was, because I had told one of our friends through Instagram that Rockaway had them, and he took, for what was him a 45-minute drive down to Rockaway and asked the kid, and the kid was like, "Oh, I put the box in the back. I'll go grab you one." So, it's just it's absolutely fucking bonkers the way that these current toy trends are going, and like what we have to do to find these things.
Well, that was like what happened with the AW figures. So I went there the day before, and I was like, "Hey, I see on the app that you have them in stock. Um, are they available?" And the guy who was stocking the shelves was like, "Well, I don't have anything here." I was like, "Is it possible that you could take a look once you're done? I'm totally okay waiting. I don't want to rush you." So he did, stocked everything they need to. Goes, "I'll take a look." And I found another guy who was like, "Yeah, I didn't see them back there." So I was about to leave, and as I'm back by the toy aisle, I see them both like, "Wait, stop, hold up. Um, we found them. We're gonna put them out right now." I
Oh
was
my
like,
god.
"Okay." And it was the big shipper that Jeremy was talking about, the big cardboard with the belts and the UFC figures.
Jesus Christ. So they just like took that out on like a giant pallet and just put them out?
Yep.
Oh my, I would have been going crazy.
Yeah, I wish we had done, well, I mean, we haven't been doing a whole lot together for obvious reasons. Even though we are brothers, we're still practicing our social distancing and whatnot. But I wish I was there for that one. That would have been fun.
That was crazy because I was like, it was kind of like watching. It was like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah,
Unreal.
exactly. That did everyone like melt and turn when
No,
they brought it out?
no, but it was crazy seeing it.
That's insane, man. When they're taking it like off, like or from the back, like what is it? Is it like wrapped in like a giant thing of cardboard, or how does that work to have all the figures already standing in there? Is it
I
like,
think I think it's shipped that way.
Yeah,
oh my lord?
so the way that those shippers work is they're like that, exactly what you see on the pallet, and usually they're one of two ways. I'm thinking it's probably the first way rather than the second way, but one of the ways is they just take the entire shipper, they put it on a pallet, and they wrap the shit out of it with basically like plastic wrap.
Mm,
Um just so that it stays tight. The reason why I'm thinking they did it that way is because some of the boxes are kind of dinged up on the top,
mm,
Yeah.
which would make sense. A lot of times, what they'll do is too, they'll ship it like that on the pallet, but they'll put those really really hard corner pieces of cardboard. They're almost like they almost feel like wood, but they are just like pressed tight cardboard, and they'll put those on the corner and then put a big box on top of it and then wrap it. Um,
mm.
it seems like it's probably just wrapped in plastic, but yeah, they ship just like that.
Amazing, man. It's such a cool display, and it's wild to see this new federation like all over Walmart. It's like that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool to see it because it's, it kind of showcases the brand as well. Like there's I think it's like Cody, Kenny Omega, and Moxley are all on it.
Yep. And you have the UFC figures too, which are like the things that are actually a limited edition single run thing from them is the thing that's like quote unquote peg warming on that shipper, because those UFC figures are one and done.
Oh, is that they're not making any more? It's just like a one series.
They're going to make more UFC figures, but they're making them in the same scale as the AEW Unrivaled figures. So the UFC figures that are out now are a slightly smaller scale that are more of an homage to imports, and like some of the Japanese fighting figures. So after this production is done, that's it. They're not producing any more of that style. They're gonna share parts and molds with the AEW figures.
Ah, that's pretty damn crazy.
Yep.
Jesus
So,
Lord.
and like, they're sitting there on the shippers, like I went to the same Walmart, and 24 hours later every single AEW figure was gone. There was no trace of them. But I could have gotten the entire wave of UFC figures, including the chase. They had the was it Donald Cerrone?
Oh,
Um
they had the Cerrone chase.
yeah.
Yeah, I had no hand room at that point.
Un-
My arm had Young Bucks in it.
Unreal, man. That's crazy.
And then that's the other thing that's impressive with those AEW figures, right? Is the two chases that are out there, which are like literally it feels like Willy Wonka.
That's wild. I'm just wondering how many like figures, like let's say, all the Cody figures, like how many do you think are out there? Like 3,000, 5,000. Like how many do you think they made in order to kind of get a grasp of how many, like percentage wise, like the regular production ones versus the 1 in 500? You know what I mean? Because I can't picture there being like 10,000 Codys out there, or for any figure for that matter. So it's like, I'm kind of do like some math calculation, like what the odds of like running into one in the wild. You know what I mean?
I
Well,
looked, there was none there. So
yeah, and as far as I've seen, and granted, there could be people out there that have them that didn't, that are just buying them because their figures didn't know they were a chase, whatever. But the Brian and Matt have them.
Of course.
Jeremy had one and he gave it away.
and Ringside's basically shipped two to people.
Yeah, Ringside shipped a Cody and shipped a Jericho.
Wow.
But the other thing you have to remember too is this is Jeremy we're talking about, and with Jax, I mean, he has that they would make figures that were like one of two, so it almost doesn't even matter how many figures they make, because they're gonna produce a chase, because that's his game, that he loves doing that kind of stuff.
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah. Jeremy Padawer is a good guy, man. He knows what he's doing, obviously, clearly. And yeah, just my God. I'm just like at a loss for words, man. I'm just thinking how I can get these damn chases without
I
paying an arm and a leg.
And the other thing, Dave and I were talking about this the other day. Typically with the chase figures, like you can go on Ringside and buy a metallic chase. You pay a
Mhm.
little bit of an upcharge for it, whatever.
Sure.
With these AEW figures, there's no way to even buy a chase from them. Like
Hmm.
you can't. Like they don't have them listed. You just, if you get it, you get it.
That's what it seems like they're doing. Yeah.
That's wild. But like ringside, I'm sure, they've gotten so many. Oh, man, I can't even imagine the number of figures they ordered. So it's going to be like damn near impossible for them not to get a couple of those chase figures, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I mean they were like the first place that anybody could even pre-order them, and the pre-orders
And
were open for a considerable amount of time.
yeah,
Oh.
and they're the only place you can get Brandy right now.
Yep.
What is she going for? Still like retail, or is it like more or something?
I think it's like 22.
Yeah. So it's not too bad of a markup. I don't know why they opted not to. I think it was just because the design of the shipper,
Mhm.
the way that it's designed, it's really meant for for five figures. So I think that's why she was kind of left out of the initial shipment. But
Mm.
But she's effectively like the April O'Neil.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember
it
that. Like never being able to find April on the shelves.
turns her into the short pack. at the end of the day.
Yeah, man, it's a good idea. Jeez.
But I even was like, you know what? I'm just gonna Series 2. I'm pre-ordering from Ringside, which I did.
Who's in Series 2 now? They got Moxley, right?
Moxley, MJF, Page, Penta, and Ray Phoenix and Dustin.
Damn. When are those coming out?
Didn't they say fall, right?
Yeah, I
Late
think
fall?
Ringside has it as late October.
Damn, I think the best thing to do would be to like pre-order those instead of doing that whole Walmart shit again. I hate going to a million stores, you know?
Yeah, I honestly I was getting burnt out because the two of us were hunting for the same thing because it was like whoever finds it first finds it, like yeah, and that's kind of the bonus of being two people hunting for the same thing because we have like an iPhone notes list that we share with each other, and when one of us is out, we look for whatever the other has on there, and and back and forth, and it was getting to the point where I was waking up. We're working from home. My daughter hasn't started school yet, so like I was getting up before I had to like clock in for the day, running to the Walmart that's 10 minutes away from my house and being back in time to like clock in. Um and after doing that for like 10 days, I was like, I'm fucking done. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of work, man. When you factor in the gas and just potential tolls and just waiting and parking your car, getting out, walking in there, it's a big process, man, for some toys. So yeah, I mean, if you can make it easier, might as well just do it, right? And pre-order.
Plus,
Yeah.
we're doing it during a pandemic, so it's like every time you
Yeah.
go outside, it's like mask, cleaning your hands, and making sure that you're being safe. And yeah, it's just it's a wild time to do anything, let alone hunt for wrestling figures.
What a time to be alive.
So,
Unreal.
so outside of the Marvel Legends, is there anything else that you've been collecting?
Oh, of course, man. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of NECA. I mean, their stuff is incredible. Just the sculpts, the paint, the packaging, like everything. So I love the turtle figures, like the Leatherhead, Metalhead 2-pack. That's incredible. Do you guys have that one?
So I have my only, and again, I made this joke years ago when NECA first started producing the turtle stuff. I made a joke. I said, I'm not going to do this to myself. I'm not opening up Pandora's box that is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These figures look too good. They're, it's going to add up quickly. I'm not doing it. And then I made a joke and I said, the only way I will ever buy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figures is if they make Coming Out of Their Shells and they make Super Shredder. Those will literally be the only Ninja Turtles figures I will buy because they never existed. There was a Super Shredder when we were kids. Playmates made it, but it was shitty. It wasn't great. And there were never Coming Out of Our Shells figures.
Mhm.
And boy, oh boy, did I have a year.
Yeah.
I can't believe that, man. Can you imagine that they actually made coming out of their shell turtle figures? Like, did you? I mean, that's wild. Like, who the hell would have saw that coming? And the fact that they made them this good, it's amazing, man. It's like they have their finger on the pulse of what the fans want, and I respect that, man.
They're
They're
unbelievable.
Dude, I'm looking at them. I have a little like side shelf that
Mhm.
is like my music toys, and it's a McFarlane, uh, 57 or excuse me, 56 Elvis, Moonwalker Michael Jackson, my Blink-182 Pops, and my Mutagen Turtles, and it is the perfect shelf. I look at it every day. It makes me smile. It makes me so happy. When they announced those figures, first of all, I nearly pissed my pants laughing because I couldn't believe it was real. And then
Mhm.
second of all, I started to sweat because I was like, I need these. Like
I looked at them. I was like, these are amazing.
whatever it takes, I need these. This has to happen. I have to get these toys.
Ah, they're so beautiful, man. How'd you guys get them? You found them in Target? You found them online? How'd you get them?
So that day that it went, the pre-order went up on Target.
Oh my God.
I I was refreshing my keyboard for 36 and a half minutes
Yep.
because it was supposed to go live at 4 o'clock.
I
So for
remember. Yep.
36 and a half minutes, I sat there refreshing. It came in stock. I got it. I got it with the t-shirt that's the right size for me.
Nice.
Everything. It sold out in seconds, right? So I got it. So happy. It comes in the mail. I
Oh
open it.
no.
I'm in the process of doing my unboxing for it. You can see the shit-eating grin on my face in the video, how happy I am to have these things.
Mhm.
I open the goddamn box, and Donatello is missing the back of his bandana.
Stop it.
And it is nowhere in the box. And you can literally, it is like, I was like a human balloon that was popped and started deflating, like in the
Oh,
middle
no.
of the video. So
Ugh.
I reach out to NECA, and their initial response was, "Well, we can give you the bandana from like the '90s Don, but it's the wrong color."
Hmm.
And I literally was like, no." And I got a little heated with them because I'm very passionate about these four bizarre turtles. But
Yeah.
as it turns out, they told me to reach back out on August 24th, which I did, and they took my information for shipping, and they are mailing me a new bandana piece. So all is right, all is well. I will be getting my bandana for the back of Donnie's head.
Oh, nice, man. There you go. That's
Yeah.
customer service. Thank God.
Yes.
I think the like kind of coolest thing about them, I didn't get one. It was gone by the time I had a chance, but I like how the feet, like how the performers were on stage, are totally like not in scale for the rest of the costume.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
It's like human feet for the Ninja Turtle like bodies and heads and such.
You know
Mhm.
what's even crazier about them? So like the design is great. They nailed it. You know, the articulation, the details. We recently, so again, I mentioned I have a daughter. She'll be 5 soon. And we've been watching the Ninja Turtles cartoons and the old ones and we watched the first 2 movies. When she saw the figures, she was like, "Why do they have instruments? Why do they look like they're singing?" And I was like, "Well, there was this Pizza Hut thing, and they did this concert." Long story short, it's all on YouTube. The actual full like hour and 20-minute long special from that, I had on a VHS is on YouTube. So we watched it. And what's crazier than the fact that they have the look that they actually don't even have the instruments that they use in the show. They have the instruments with them from the promo art,
Mm.
which is like even crazier because they went into like the archives to find them holding these bizarre unplayable instruments, like they come with a saxophone. There isn't even a damn song on the on the album that has a saxophone in it, but in one of the promo pictures Raph is holding a saxophone. So here we go, we have Raph with a saxophone. Like it is the absolute swan song of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles absurdity, and I'm so happy it exists.
Do you guys think they'll ever make that shredder from the tour?
Holy shit, I hope so.
Like with that huge ass helmet. I'm going based on memory now. I mean, I saw the YouTube video. I want to say God knows how many years ago, but I think his whole entire face was exposed. Right? You don't
Yep,
see like he doesn't wear the mask, and he just has some like really ridiculous oversized helmet on. Right? I just remember he looks stupid, like
and
really silly.
it's polished to a mirror shine, and
Oh,
he has a perfect 1990s like shitty rap song about how he hates
How he
music.
hates music, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
oh
so
my
if they
god.
made all right, I'm saying it now. So I have Super Shredder on pre-order. Which by the time this podcast airs, that pre-order on the NECA store will have been closed. But if they make that shredder, I will also get that shredder.
Man, I mean, listen, NECA does some crazy stuff. I mean, look, they did the turtle movie figures. What was it, 3 San Diego Comic Cons ago, right? I think it
Yeah,
was like 2017. And then the next year they did Splinter, capture with Shredder and the Foot Clan. Um, so maybe next year maybe it'll shape up. Now you'll get Shredder as a bad guy. I mean, it only makes sense based on their past track records. I think that would be pretty damn awesome. And everyone that got the Turtle Mutant Tour or coming out of the Shell Tour figures are now going to have to not want to get it, have to get it. So I
Yeah.
think that'd be brilliant marketing. I mean, it only makes sense.
well, they've got me like yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
they've done some
hooked
cool
in.
stuff like they've done the video game ones. They've done fantastic
Th-
with the
th-
Dude.
Turtles line.
they did that they did that one Splinter too that was part of one of the Loot Crate boxes where he's like like the vision of Splinter, like the
Mhm.
clear blue shiny
Was that
one.
was that a loot crate or was that a like a crowdfunding?
It was one of those, like, special box or, like, you couldn't get it at retail. It was part of
Okay.
some kind of special thing. I wanna say it was a Loot Crate, but you might be right. It might have been something else.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was. All I know is that, of course, everyone saw that. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna skip on this," and now it goes for like $100+ on eBay or something. I'm like, "Oh god." So
Yep.
yeah, but I
Well,
mean, yeah,
I that's why I after I had this, and they made Super Shredder, Kevin Nash Super Shredder, I had to get it. I'll I forked over the $14 shipping, had to get it.
yeah. One of those expected to come in like within like the next couple of months,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, before the end of the year.
dude, I was like, I posted on Instagram the other day in my story. I'm like, "Hey man, if anyone has a shredder, a super shredder in hand, DM me." And of course, everyone sent me the links. "Hey, it's up for pre-order." I'm like, "Yeah, but I have no self control. I need it yesterday." So I know I'm really close to actually going on eBay. I know it sounds so foolish. Don't feed the scalpers, and I hate not that I hate scalpers. I mean, whatever. It's like, I resell toys, but to a different degree. I'm not going to a store to quickly flip it. I'm finding old shit. Two different animals. Um, but yeah, it's like, I just like want to have that figure in hand right now so badly, just to go with the Foot Clan, the Foot Soldiers, and I saw somebody on Instagram. This is what made me want to get it even that much more. He had like, I think it was like four Foot Soldiers, like two on each end, and like Super Shredder in the middle. It just looks so freaking awesome. And yeah, it's kind of like what I want to do. So it's like I need it now, but I could wait, but I don't want to. I know I sound spoiled. I'm not. I'm just like again, I'm psychotic. So yeah.
Listen, I hear you. I went to 5 Walmarts in one day for a cable figure that I had pre-ordered through Walmart.com that told me it would be there in October. But I was like,
Oh,
why? I'd wait till October when I can drive around and get it today. Maybe.
unreal. Have you in the New Jersey area where you guys like wherever you guys live around there, do you ever find Walmart's having any NECA products at all? Because where I am, they don't have a single NECA product in any Walmart. And like every time I go, I go to that department where it's like kind of by the electronics and where the pops would or should be. And when I mention like NECA, they look at me like I have 15 heads. I explain to them, I show them pictures, and every time I get the same response. I figured, the last person wasn't like, he just didn't know what he was saying or whatnot. And like, yeah, we don't carry NECA products in the store. I'm like, why the hell would you not? So how does one Walmart have like stacks of, whoever, and then the other Walmart, for whatever reason, doesn't decide to carry NECA? Like, who makes up these decisions? How is that? How
I
or why is that? And yeah.
I wish we had an answer for you.
Yeah,
In New
I've only
Jersey.
ever seen some like horror movie figures.
Yeah, so my Walmart, like the one that's closest to me, will sometimes have some of the NECA Ultimates for horror movies. So like I've seen Michael
Okay.
Myers, I've seen a couple of Predators, I've seen like an
Ash
Alien.
from Evil Dead 2, I've seen a bunch.
Yeah. Um, I have never seen. I've seen NECA Turtles once at Rockaway, and it was that Casey and Raph 2-pack.
Oh wow.
Um, and that is the only time I've ever seen NECA Turtles in a Walmart around here. Only time.
Unbelievable, man. I mean, I would just, and then you see pictures of like people on Instagram, Facebook, they'll like show you their shelves and they'll be in like the middle of nowhere and it's like fully stocked, like those new Predators and
Yep.
like two Super Shredders and like 800 Casey Joan Raft 2-packs. I'm like, where the hell do you live and why is it not coming here?
Manassas, Virginia, apparently. That was where that one end cap was that had like 20 Raph and Casey 2-packs. Was in
You guys seen that?
Yeah, that was in Manassas, Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then I'm like, is this like a Photoshop picture? But at the same time, like who the hell would spend time to do this and what do they get out of it?
Yeah, and to
So
make it
yeah.
look so good.
Yeah, but can you believe that? Then here I am, like a schmuck, because again, I'm there's like two Walmarts, like the one that you saw me at, and then there's another one upstate New York over here, and I go there maybe like I would say on average like once a week, God forbid twice a week. And I get not just for toys, I basically go there for groceries and just whatever, life essentials. And of course, I'm always checking the toy area, and they never have any of the things I'm looking for. So it's like, damn, what do I got to do? If I want these, I have to pay a premium. So about a week ago, I got the KC Raft 2-pack. I think it was like about $84 shipped. And when you think about it, it's not too bad because it's like I think the retail is like 50 or 52 plus
Yep.
tax and shipping. So it's like, the guy maybe made 10, $15, whatever. But and then there you are, and you see people with that picture on social media, and they have their local shops having literally like 2 or 3 dozen of them. It's wild, man. Like one man's trash, it's another man's treasure. So
The distribution system is completely borked.
It's
Like
it's
it's broken.
so yeah. It's you couldn't make sense of it if you tried.
the only thing I can come up with is like, here we are in like the Northeast. Shit gets delivered to, like the West Coast first, naturally. I want to say like, like California, right? So that's probably where like the big hub is, where all like the ships and all that other stuff. So everything is probably getting there first, and that's to make its way all the ways to us on the, the opposite side of the country. So it's probably more cost effective for them not to ship it out as far as New York. If they could just ship it out to the surrounding states, they're going to make more money. Doesn't that make more sense?
It's not a bad theory. I think too, the other thing that you have to consider is us being in such close proximity to New York City, arguably the country's biggest international hub, is that we are just kind of a hotspot for collectors.
That too, sure. Mm-hmm.
Because I know they have similar problems down in like the Orlando area. Because again, like it's just a big, like that part of Florida there's just a huge collecting culture. Like the part of Florida when I visit Florida, oftentimes I'm in like the Gulf area, in like the Sarasota Bradenton area, and when I go to Walmart there, I see shit there that I have never seen on shelves. Like I oftentimes have to bring an additional suitcase with me for the amount of
Wow.
shit that I find at those Walmarts.
And it's just sitting there
Just
for
sitting
the
there.
taking.
Yep. Sometimes in clearance bins. Like I don't know if you're a big Star Wars collector, but for a while Walmart had exclusive 3 3/4 Star Wars figures. So they came in the Black Series box, but it was a smaller box because they were the smaller figures. And you could only get them at Walmart. And there were figures that I never saw up here. I mean, never. That I saw in a $5 clearance bin at that Walmart. Like the red Imperial Guards. I wanted like 4 of them for an eventual display to display with the Emperor. I couldn't find one up here. Down there, I got 4 for $15. I was like, what is this?
Unreal. So those
Yeah,
guys that you couldn't find up here were down there for God knows how long, collecting dust until they finally said, let's get rid of these.
absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. So I don't know whether it's the fact that we can't find them because they're not, a lot of people say they never make it out to the floor here, because of collecting culture and the people who are stocking the shelves or yada yada yada, like
Or is
there's
it just that everyone's looking for them and they fly?
yep.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that makes sense. And plus also, I'd imagine like a lot of the people that are buying this stuff to resell, the scalpers, whatever, they're probably like, they probably have relationships with the guys that are working in the toy area, whatever. Like, hey man, I'm looking for this. When these come in, call me, don't put it out, and I'll give you $20 for that case or whatever. I mean, I'm saying they're still gonna pay for it. It's not like they're getting, they're stealing it for them. I'm saying like, hey man, just warn me when these come in. I'll give you $20, and then they go on their way. They do the self checkout, whatever. So that's very possible. I mean, listen, it's a combination of everything. It has to be. But yeah, damn, freaking so many damn people. It's so competitive, man.
Yep, it's tough around here. It really is. It is tough, and shelves are empty, and and we are sad.
It's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
pretty much.
Like, you guys seen those new McFarlane toys, right? The ones that he's making of like animals, like with Cygor and the shark
Yeah,
looking dude.
yeah.
Oh man, those are cool too. I'm just randomly
Yeah,
I'm,
they're
I'm just
really cool.
yeah, the Cygor one is awesome, and they're really cool, and they're relatively inexpensive for what they are.
I couldn't believe that Cygor was only $20. I almost bought
They're
it the other
so
day.
big. They're so big.
It's crazy, man. Yes, he's like $20. The shark, I actually found that at an upstate Walmart. I couldn't believe it. One that I usually don't go to. I was like just traveling somewhere, and it was like $9 and like 67 cents or some weird number like that. I'm like, damn, this is not bad. I would gladly pay $20 for this, but hey, you want to charge me under $10? No problem.
Yeah, I had Cygor in my hand the day that I found Cable at that same Walmart, and I ended up putting him back only because I don't have a lot of space in terms of my display, and
Hmm.
he's so big that it literally,
That's
like, he would have taken up, and I would have had to clear a shelf for him, like an entire shelf just for him.
and consider especially like once that Spawn comes out. That Spawn with the cape and everything is going to be big.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
I still haven't tackled how I'm gonna do that Kickstarter Spawn, where I'm gonna put him.
Whew, a lot of controversy about that one, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean it's we've talked to enough people from McFarlane now where we've gotten an idea of how they kind of wrap their brains around articulation and design. And at the end of the day, they are design first. Like they understand that what they're making is a product that's not a toy, it's a collectible and it's meant to be on a shelf and look cool.
Yeah.
So they sacrifice articulation in spots in order to keep like the best example you could use is Spawn's design, right? He's got those parallel white lines that run from, his collarbone down to his hips. And one of Todd's pet peeves apparently is when you have waist articulation that breaks up those lines. So that way like somebody could pose it and those lines won't go straight down. And when you're making a toy out of hard plastic and that's the only thing you could do to give him waist articulation, he'd rather pre-pose the figure with some sort of sculpt so that way the figure looks like it has motion, and by posing other parts of the body you can kind of synthesize a pose that you might be trying to get, but it takes away from that final articulation count. I'm still super excited for the
Yeah,
figure.
I was gonna say that said, I'm
Yeah,
very much excited for it.
I can't wait to get it. I know people are also being hounding about the cape. They wanted a cloth cape, but it's at the end of the day too. This is supposed to be an homage to that original '94 Spawn with
Mhm.
the hinged plastic cape and the clamshell case and the comic book, and like that's first and foremost what he's trying to do here. And I mean, that's what it is. It is a deluxe edition of that Spawn in the new scale with new deco and new detail. So, I can't be mad at it. It wasn't. I don't think it was unfairly priced for what we're getting at the end of the day. I'm excited for it.
Oh yeah, I think it's great.
Oh, definitely, man. It looks awesome. Yeah, I'm all for it, and that's the whole thing. Like, I know how McFarlane is or was back in the day with the poses and whatnot, so I don't mind it one bit because chances are I'm not going to really have it in hand and play with it and make it do any dynamic poses. I guess the one that came out for the Mortal Kombat series, that's what you have that for. But yeah, like when I saw people in Facebook groups like complaining about that, I'm like, damn, man, there's I mean, you at the end of the day, you can't make anyone happy, and everyone's always going to have like something to say. But yeah, I'm a huge supporter of Todd McFarlane. I love him. He's like the guy's a genius. I love that guy, even though we have no relation. And it's crazy, man. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm just wondering like when it's going to be in the clamshell packaging, if it could be like resealed or if it's like you have to
Yes.
like cut it open. Oh, good. Okay,
Nope.
thank
It
God.
is. It is a resealable plastic clamshell.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, because I can't picture like taking like a box cutter, opening that up, and be like, oh, what do I do with this now? And oh god, okay, that's good.
Yeah. No, that was actually they had designed what the packaging was going to be like before they actually designed the figure.
Amazing. Oh
So
boy, I saw there was a couple on eBay. People already selling like the what is it, like the ultimate edition or a deluxe edition, the one that came with 3 figures, whatever that was, or the
yep.
trilogy, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like asking, and there's like a lot of watches. Now, granted, I'm sure a lot of watches and people are looking at it per minute or per hour because of the crazy price, but it was like $1,200 or $1,300, and
No
the retail
shit.
on that was like three. Yeah, so when this hits, I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of people are gonna try to do a quick flip, but I think these are gonna go for like a crazy premium.
Yeah, so Dave and I both got the classic.
Yeah, I
The
got the classic one because I wanted it to be like the one I remember.
Mm-hmm.
and you got you did the little bit of the extra bump for the autograph and the extra
Yeah, I
weapon,
went for
right?
the autograph and the extra weapon. Yeah.
Oh,
My
nice, man.
brother-in-law got the 3. He got the trio.
Yeah,
So,
you had to be. Yeah, same here, man. I just had to pull the trigger, and even though I'm only gonna display the main one, like would it come with the prototype one and then like a new Al Simmons head or something like that? I don't know. I forgot what the third one
Yeah, that
was.
yep.
was the modern.
Yep, you
Modern,
get an Al
yeah.
Simmons head, you get a screaming head. Yeah.
Shit,
I
man.
so many different tiers, so many different plus ups. That's one to look forward to. I'm very excited for that.
the shipping was killer, man. It was like $78 for that trilogy pack or something. It was wild. I was like, oh my God. But again, I understand, shipping is a lot and you have to pay people to do it and to store it and whatnot. But when I saw that shipping price, I was like, oh goodness.
I think you're also getting a custom box for all three of them, like a way to display all three of them, if I remember correctly.
Hey man, bring it on. I'm all for anything that makes it look cool together, sure.
Well, Zombie, where can we find you online?
Yeah, so you could search for me. I'm on Instagram. It's at Zombie Sailors, S at the end for savings. No, Zombie Sailors Toys. My website is www.zombiesailor.com, which I never update because I am lazy and or busy. But yeah, if you guys are looking for a certain vintage figure or even a new figure, do me a favor, slide into my DMs. I'm not pressuring. I'm not going to say, okay, you have to buy this. Tell me what it is that you're looking for. There's a very good chance I have it, or if I don't, I would know someone that has it. And I will show you what it is that you're looking for, God willing, and with the price. And if you like it, send me some cashola through PayPal, and I send it to you. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff going on with the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. I do the pins, and then we have a super secret project in the works. And yeah, hopefully this isn't the last you've heard from Zombie Sailor. Next time I'm on, God willing, we could talk about all the other new projects coming up or new warehouse finds that are hopefully going to be discovered sooner than later.
Yeah, man, you're welcome back on anytime.
Anytime.
It was a pleasure
Appreciate
having and talking shop with you. By the time this episode airs, unfortunately, your Friday pins will have sold out. Your major pins that are going on sale tomorrow. But we know that they will sell out quickly, like they always do.
I hope so, man. Yeah, I mean it's awesome. I'm blessed that people like them. There's a big following for them. People tag me all the time, like, oh, look at this. My pin board or on their vest or whatnot. It's really cool and it's really humbling to see that people like it and people just appreciate all the work that goes into it. Because I'm not the artist. People, the talented artists, send me their work. I send it to the factories. I communicate back and forth, and at the end of the day, it has my name on it, even though I physically didn't draw it. But I like to put out something that I would want, something that looks like there's a lot of effort into it. And yeah, bottom line, I'm just happy that people like them.
Well, we love what you do, and
yeah, absolutely.
You're one of our favorite follows, and it's so nice to have had you on the show. So thank you so much for taking time away from your family to be with us. And
yeah, it was nice to have met you in person, and now to have you on here.
Thank you, dear listener, for hanging out with us today. Subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen, and then tell your friends to do it. Thanks also to Joe Azzari, the golden voice behind our intro. Our music is Game Boy Horror by the Zombie Dandies. Find more about them both in our show notes.
Follow us on social media at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Stop by and say hi, show us your toy hauls, and share your toy stories. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Don't try this at home. Void where prohibited and some assembly required. Each sold separately, not a flying toy. Consult a physician if your toy run exceeds more than 4 hours.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.